We're now back with a Fox News alert for you. It's a terror game changer. Russia now confirming a bomb brought down that Russian airliner over Egypt, and a furious Putin is vowing revenge. Here with reaction is former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin.
Great to have you. So it sounds like the very latest news is somebody put a 2-pound bomb, homemade bomb, on that Russian jetliner. Putin has offered a $50 million reward. 2 people have been arrested at Sharm el-Sheikh in the airport, according to one news source, although the people in Egypt say that's not the case.
And there, Putin is doing his job. You know, you have to hand it to the man that nobody has to guess whose side he is on. He's putting his people first and doing the right thing. And I think that maybe some other leaders could kind of learn from some of that he is exuding, that strength.
He also assassinates his enemies, so that's the negative side to him.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Good, bad, or ugly, though, you have to give the man some due respect.
So do you think we should work with him? Do you think we should work with him? The president had that secret meeting that we all saw take place. Do you think that we should go into a triumphant, a 3-pronged attack against ISIS with France?
Well, you know, I think we have no choice but to do everything possible, everything within our power, and working with allies to get in there and, you know, eradicate the evil. But we have to be vigilant and aware that Putin, in many respects, is part of some evil. So we have to, you know, like Reagan's old trust but verify, we have to be more vigilant than ever when it comes to working with Putin.
Don't you have to be able to pronounce phonetically what our enemy actually is? And don't you have to be able to name the enemy specifically in order to take specific action? We have Hillary Clinton, who can't even get her mouth around the words of our enemy, and she's asking to be the leader of the free world.
Right.
We're in trouble.
And there is such denial when it comes to what much of these radical Muslims represent and what they believe in. And it's a dangerous position for the people who are being served by our leaders who refuse to identify the enemy, because obviously you don't identify the enemy. How the heck are you going to go in there and get rid of them?
She'll call them jihadists. She won't call them radical Islamists or anything even close to that.
Yeah, well, that doesn't fool the people, because you know.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what is going on in the news. And, you know, so many people are looking in on what is going on with ISIS. They've claimed responsibility for the jetliner attack and now Paris. And our president yesterday was badgered by the press corps, and he was getting a little hot under the collar. Mr. President, why isn't your ISIS strategy working? And then he said, it is working, I just need more time.
Yeah, and, you know, I wouldn't even characterize it as being badgered. I'd say it's holding our president accountable and asking him why it is that he believes that status quo is sufficient, because it's not. We know that ISIS is now threatening louder than ever that they're going to come get us. You know, they hate us.
New York.
They hate Israel. They hate our allies. And yet, yes, it seems that our president is just satisfied with what we're doing, which isn't enough.
Right. Let's take a look at what the president said about the refugees. How dare you question, you 23 governors, whether we should bring these Syrian refugees to our shores? Listen.
That's why even as we accept more refugees, including Syrians, we do so only after subjecting them to rigorous screening and security checks. Slamming the door in their faces would be a betrayal of our values. Our nations can welcome refugees who are desperately seeking safety and ensure our own security. We can and must do both.
That's not the case. We do not have a sufficient screening policy, according to the chairman of Homeland Security.
Of course not. I'm this close to feeling sorry for our president.
Why?
His naivete, his usurping of the governor's authorities, those governors they're our last line of defense when it comes to taking in those who have not been vetted. There is no process to vet, get rid of the bad guys before they step foot on our soil. It is our Republican governors who are so strong on this and so correct when it comes to whose authority actually it is to make sure that the people that they're serving are safe.
Governor, do you think that this whole campaign has switched now to national security? And if so, what Republican or Democratic candidate do you think is strongest for Sarah Palin right now?
There isn't a Democrat candidate who is strong enough for any of the people of America if our desire is to stay safe and sovereign. Thankfully, we do have Republicans in that field who are hawkish enough at this time that you know, they know
what
that.
Do you think?
Well, thankfully, Ted Cruz is extremely strong on this. Donald Trump, of course, he's the one who will most candidly tell you, let's get in there and, you
Bomb the
bomb
something out of 'em.
which I wrote a Christian book, so I'm not able,
Let's talk a little bit about the Christian book.
I'm not able to.
It's called Sweet Freedom, a devotional.
Yeah.
I love a devotional.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need devotionals.
Whatever is happening in your world, there is a story in there that somebody can read and feel better about themselves.
It is amazing. God's omnipotence, His wisdom, He was able to provide this wisdom to the writers of the Old and New Testament to answer every single one of the challenges that we face today as a nation and personally. I just want to show people where to look in the Word, where they can find a verse that answers the question as to what do you do with refugees?
Right.
What do you do about a perverse tax system? What do you do about defending yourself with arms? Believe it or not, there are specific answers to everything we're facing
Well, and
today.
I love this because it focuses us not on our attention to troubles, but focuses us back on prayer and in the Word. And imagine if we all did that for our nation and this globe.
Yeah, imagine. And it starts individually with ourselves and then collectively as we ask for an awakening, a revival in this land, the prayer is sure to be answered.
Governor, I was looking for answers when the Giants blew that game against the Patriots. Would I find that in the book? Because right now I have none. How they could blow that game, they had it in the palm of their hand.
Little quick passes at the
Is
end.
there a devotional for me? Because I cannot rest.
Yeah, God's probably telling you, keep it in perspective, man. There's some
only a
big
game.
battles out there. It's
I
hard.
know
Say, keep
the
it in
plans I have
perspective,
for you.
man.
All right.
And yet at the same time, man, I'm praying all the time for my teams to win.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Why
You
not?
started
Human nature.
ESPN.
All right, once again, the brand new book out this week is called Sweet Freedom, a devotional by our friend Sarah Palin.
Thanks so much for
Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Always.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations on the book, and I'll see you on the radio
Yours too.
show.
I love this.
Yeah, thank you.
Meanwhile,